I think the major challenge is also the major opportunity, and it has to do with the supply of rental housing. As I said, the rental housing industry has a chronic shortage of supply, not just in Ottawa, but across most of Canada, but definitely throughout Ontario. And I think if there's some way that the federal government, the provincial government, and the municipal governments can work together to bring together a program that will encourage good construction and increase the supply of rental housing, that would be a wonderful opportunity that would work well for the City of Ottawa.
So the reality is that there will be a number of government tenancies leaving buildings and a significant number of buildings requiring significant capital upgrades. I believe in the market that the challenge, as well as the opportunity, is for us as owners and operators to really recognize that tenants, all tenants, whether private sector or public sector, really want the same thing. That's compelling workspace for their employees to help in their attraction and retention of their most valuable resource. So the opportunity really here for us in this market is to respond to the needs of tenants and implement best practices that maybe we've seen in practice in other markets and apply them here as we upgrade the overall market.
I think one of our biggest challenges is having to adjust to the city's changing infrastructure and the plans surrounding that, as well as understanding the impacts that will have on the low availability that we currently have in our market. How are we going to adjust to that? And how are we going to, as a community, agree to tackle that problem?
Over the next 12 months, well, we're going to have a new government, but the reality is regardless of the color of the government, the country's population, the country's need for services continue to grow, so as such, the government's going to continue to grow. They will be retooling a bunch of their space, as we've often heard, but that takes a bunch of time. And while they're doing that, they need to vacate buildings for that retooling, and that retooling can take 6, 7, 8 years. That's a long swing space, but what that is provides great security for the investment market. The other pressing item in the next 12 months is the LeBreton Flats. There's been a couple of stops and starts on that project. It's now serviced by RLRT. It's centrally located, huge piece of land, just minutes from downtown, minutes from Gatineau. It's got to get going and get at least started with those first developments.